Good evening, all you high level humans. Welcome back to the High Level Human Podcast. I am your host. I am James McGee. Stand by.
Welcome to the High Level Human Podcast, a production of the James McGee Show. With your host, James McGee. He pulls no punches. He's in your face, and he keeps it real. Join him for candid discussions about life, leadership, and living the life of a high-level human.
All right, it's Monday, so you know what that means. Man's Man Monday. Where we talk about being a man, being a man's man, and what it means, and the movement of it being okay to be a man. It is okay to be a man. It's okay to be masculine. It's okay to take care of your family. So I was scrolling a little bit today, and man, it seemed like everywhere I turned, it was it's politics. It's presidential season, and we have Republican nominee now, Donald Trump, former President Trump, and then our current president Joe Biden. So everything is revolving around a presidential election. And look, I'm in tune with politics. I've been involved in politics a long time, and I think elections are important. And I think that we should exercise our right. We should research candidates. We should vote for the candidate that stands for what we stand for, the closest to what we stand for. But I do also think that we hold too much weight in some of these elections sometimes. Now hear me out on that. Again, I say they're important, but what's more important than who the president is, what's more important than our congressmen, our senators, or mayors, governor, is us. We worry too much about the government and who our president is. And in my opinion, we should worry about being the president of ourselves more than anything, and the president of our families. The more that we can take care of ourselves, the more we are independent and not dependent upon anybody else, any government for anything, the less that it matters. I'm sure each of you will agree that we pay way too much taxes. I did my taxes last week, and that was a pretty. I was depressed for a couple days after that. Where is that money going? Where is that money? I'm sure you're saying the same thing. What are we getting out of it? What we need to do is worry about how we can protect ourselves, how we can provide for our families when we have an emergency. Are we self-contained? Do we have contingency plans? Because nobody is going to save you. Nobody's coming to take care of you. You have to take care of yourself. So when we have that mindset, and it passes down from generation to generation, if enough people have that, then we can truly have smaller government. Hey, and maybe we could figure out how not to pay so much damn taxes. So that's what I would love each of us to start looking at, is how can we do better? Because yes, it affects our economy. It does affect things, but our day-to-day life, the more that we can do for ourselves, the more that we are prepared, the less that we depend on anybody else. Now, I'm not a doomsday prepper. If you are, I'm not mad at you for that. But I can tell you this, I'm prepared. I'm not depending on anybody else. I have contingency plans for emergencies. Every vehicle that I own, my wife, my kids, they're not dependent upon somebody to come change their tire. I'm talking about simple things. I'm not talking about just major things. They're not dependent upon somebody to come jumpstart their car. They're not depending upon somebody to come change their tire, because the more time you are sitting in an emergency, the more time that you are vulnerable that something bad can happen. So what really irks me is when I see a young man watching somebody else change their tires because they don't know how. Why doesn't he know how to change a tire? Why doesn't he know how to jumpstart his car? Why doesn't he know how to do simple repairs when it's an emergency? We have got to get back to that. We have got to start being more independent. And then when we're independent and we're not dependent upon anybody else, then we really can really make some noise. We can really make some noise about wasteful spending and all the taxes that we're paying. But we have to if we want small government, if we want less government, then we have to be prepared to take care of ourselves. We have to prepare to I was retired law enforcement, and I'm very proud of everybody that serves. I come from a first class agency. But if you're an active shooter, you're going to have to address that situation. You're going to have, if say the response time was 2 minutes, which is very is unheard of. A lot can happen in 2 minutes. So are you prepared for an active shooter situation? Is your family prepared for an active shooter situation? Are you, I live in hurricane season is right around the corner. If you're natural disasters, whatever most areas of the country have some sort of natural disaster that they have to be prepared for. Are you prepared? Let's prepare ourselves. Let's be as independent as we can. And then it doesn't matter as much who is in charge, because I can tell you that, and I don't think you're going to disagree, and I'm not telling you anything you don't know already. And nobody really cares. Nobody really gives a shit about your day-to-day lives. They could be, everybody makes promises when they're running for office, but reality is a lot of those things don't get done. Well, let's quit worrying about that. Let's just take care of ourselves. Let's be the president of ourselves, our lives, and our families. And like I said, when we do that, when enough people do that, and we're not dependent upon others, and we have this movement of people who are taking care of themselves, not dependent on anybody, not depending on the government to come and save them or do anything, then we're going to be a lot better nation. So stay tuned tomorrow for Two Finger Tuesday. My first two guests, Joe Collins and Tom Wells, are going to join us for a Two Finger, and we're going to talk about the recruiting crisis of police officers in this nation and get their opinions on why is it happening and what can be done to solve it. So until then, McGee